Welcome back to the Cardon Ellis Show. We are in studio with Matthew John Pearson. I noticed you have the really cool gangster way of spelling it with one T. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you are Googling Matthew John Pearson, don't forget that it is one T. Now, I do have to say, I have to indulge myself a little bit here and tell our listening audience, if any of you just want to come across as a little bit more interesting, a little bit more sophisticated, just plain old, quote, cooler, end quote, you have got to start hanging out with a guy from New Zealand. Because the second that accent comes out and you are in public, you are just cool by association and everyone thinks you are more interesting. I mean, how does it feel being in America where you are just loved the second you open your mouth?
Well, I can't complain.
And I even just, for some reason, I just view you as just so intelligent and articulate, just how you put that. You know, even the silliest redneck from New Zealand could come here and just be perceived as an amazing individual just because of how he sounds. So let's talk a little bit more about this latest short that you just filmed last month. It was intriguing for me. I don't know if your minds work this way. I'm speaking to our listeners right now. I don't know if your minds work this way, but mine enjoys disseminating something, not disseminating it, but dissecting something, trying to figure out how it works. And I understand your last film, Gunless, not a single shot was fired. Everything was done on your computer afterwards. And in your previous shorts and in Contract Killers, there were no real guns. They were fake explosions that you put in on the computer afterwards?
Yeah, that's correct. The airsoft guns, and a lot of
they're airsoft rifles.
Yeah, in a lot of cases they're like full replicas, so they're made out of metal. They look exactly like the real weapons, which also makes it safer for filming. And then afterwards, in the computer, you put all the effects in.
So Hollywood is duping us with airsoft rifles?
They do it a lot, yeah.
Oh man!
I did one scene in Contract Killers. We used blank firing guns, and it's certainly a lot more exciting to film with. But yeah, it's a lot more costly, and you know, there's certain safety aspects you have to.
So next time I go to watch, for example, The Expendables 15, because what are they on now, right? Like Expendables 5 or something, or what, 3 or 4 or something. All right. So by the time we're down to Expendables 29, it's like the Fast and the Furious. They just keep, you know, replicating like rabbits. But by the time we go watch The Expendables 17, I'm going to be a little bit deflated because I'll just be thinking they're airsoft rifles.
Well, I certainly can't speak for someone else's production. I mean, I know a lot of productions do a mix of practical effects and visual effects, and that's pretty much the sweet spot, I think, because you're getting the realism of the practical, and then wherever it's safer, you know, you're using digital effects and digital composites.
Okay, so what now? This is now relative to Santa Clarita. It's been very interesting speaking with you off air, because I don't know if any of you listeners out there had a friend from another country, not just another state, visit. But it's really funny to see the isms that happen, the funny things that happen. For example, you said that you waited on the wrong side of a car recently. What's it like just all of a sudden being in America? What?
Oh, well, it's indescribably awesome for me because I've always loved America. I've always wanted to live here. Always wanted to make movies here. And with the cars and being on the right-hand side of the road, when I first got here, I stayed with my friend Jason Lewis in Florida, and jumped on his PlayStation on Grand Theft Auto, and I practiced driving on the right-hand side of the road in the computer game. I was actually stopping at the red lights. I don't think anyone else on the planet has played Grand Theft Auto and stopped at a red light and waited. So I did that for a couple of hours, and the brain was just able to make the switch. And then when I got in a car,
Mom and dad, mothers and fathers everywhere, did you just officially hear that? Xbox and PlayStation, a la Grand Theft Auto, are officially training your children for international transportation and travel.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. All these video games are a great thing. We should be playing more.
Absolutely. And then coming to LA, the best thing I could have done was get a cheap motorcycle. So now I'm cruising around on a motorcycle on the right-hand side of the road, and loving it. Getting to explore. It's a beautiful, beautiful state. And Santa Clarita is beautiful as well. I love all the, love the weather, love the hills, love the scenery.
All right, and you were going to film a cool scene. I think you were mentioning next to an oil derrick here. Unfortunately, we have to go soon, but you got to tell us where we can see all of our lovely hometown in some of these shorts. Where can we find you when we're looking for you?
Well, yeah, you go to my website, engineeredfilms.com.au. On the short films page has the Gunless short film, which was my first movie made on American soil, so that's always going to be very special to me. And then as we get into filmmaking here in California, we'll be posting the films up on the same website.
Perfect. Well, we're going to check you out. This is Matthew John Pearson, ladies and gentlemen. You heard him first here on the Cardon Ellis Show.
All right, thanks for having me.